Hello students, I hope you all are fine. Today our topic is the making of nationalism in Europe. Germany, Italy and Switzerland were divided into kingdoms, duchies and cantons, whose rulers had their autonomous territories. In the earlier times, Germany, Italy and Switzerland were having kingdoms and their rulers had their autonomous territories. Next is the aristocracy and the new middle class. The aristocracy was the dominant class on the continent politically and socially. Means the aristocrats were dominating other classes on the continent politically and socially. The majority of population was made up of peasantry. Means the major population was of peasants. Industrialization began in England in the second half of 18th century. New social groups came into being, a working class population and middle classes made up of industrialists, businessmen, professionals. Means after the start of industrialization in England in second half of 18th century, new social groups came into being, a working class population and middle class population made up of industrialists, businessmen and professionals. Next is, what did liberal nationalism stand for? The term liberalism derives from the Latin root liber, meaning free. The right to vote and to get elected was granted exclusively to property owning men. Means the people having property had the right to vote and get elected. Men without property and all women are excluded from political rights. Means the men who were not having property and women were excluded from political rights. In 1834, a customs union or Solvarian was formed at the initiative of Prussia and joined by most of the German states. In 1834, a custom union or we can say Solvarian was formed and at the initiative of Prussia and most of the German states have joined them. The union abolished tariff barriers and reduced the number of currencies from over 30 to 2. Our next topic is New Conservatism after 1815. In 1815, European governments were driven by a spirit of conservatism. Conservatives believed in monarchy, the church, social hierarchies, property, and that the family should be preserved. In 1815, European government was driven by a spirit of conservatism. Conservatives believed that their monarchy, the church, social hierarchies, property and the family should be preserved. A modern army, an efficient bureaucracy, a dynamic economy, the abolition of feudalism and serfdom could strengthen the autocratic monarchies of Europe. Means a modern army, a efficient bureaucracy, a dynamic economy, abolition of feudalism and serfdom could strengthen the autocratic strength of monarchies. In 1815, representatives of European powers, Britain, Russia, Persia and Austria met in Vienna to draw up a settlement for Europe. In 1815, representatives of European powers, Britain, Russia, Persia and Austria met in Vienna to draw up a settlement for Europe. The Bourbon dynasty was restored to power and France lost the territories it has annexed under Napoleon. Bourbon dynasty had restored the power and France lost the territories it had made under Napoleon. The major issues taken up by liberal nationalists who criticized the new conservative order was freedom of press. The major issues taken by liberal nationalists who criticized new conservative order was the freedom of press. Students, this was all about today.